Here's the honest truth about Cyberpunk. It looks great and plays well. And although there's a lot more to say about it, that's where I'm going to start. But I will add this. I have no idea what everyone's crying about. So let's have a quick look and try and figure out what so many people got upset about. Because from where I sit, Cyberpunk's heaps of fun. Let's do it. Let's get something out of the way first. I didn't play the game until 2 weeks after it had been released, so I missed some of the bugs that people were crying about. And the only real bugs I saw was this guy eating a hamburger that seemed to go forever. And the front wheel of my motorcycle doesn't seem to want to turn. If that's the worst of it, then I think life might be okay. Having said that, I do understand that the console guys had it a lot harder than the PC dudes, and there was a lot of issues. But with time, it is getting patched out, so it's not so bad at the moment. But some people are more upset with the fact that things that were promised were never delivered. Now, if that were the case, they shouldn't feel so bad, because there are plenty of dev teams that have shat the bed when it comes to undelivered promises. To quote Nathan Wood from the GeForce community page, "It's a shame all the things they showed off didn't come to pass. Overall, I enjoyed my time in the game enough to not make me regret the purchase. Just a little saddened by what should have been." Now, we don't have time in this video to go through all the things that were listed, but there is a link below that lists everything, and there was quite a bit, and some of it quite cool, and I would very much look forward to seeing it in the game. But the problem with that is they're adding and adding as the game goes, so who's to say that all that won't happen anyway? Let's have a look at another trigger point for people, and that's ray tracing. People were up in arms about devastating frame loss. It would be unplayable at 60 frames. Please, 60 frames is not unplayable. That's just arrogant speak for I can't spool up my 3090 fast enough. It's absolutely shocking. I just don't see the big deal. And here's some numbers for you. And keep in mind, this is a static setting and not running through a crowded side street where literally any PC or console is going to struggle. Now, there's always a couple of ways to set up your game. One is absolute ultra max settings if you've got the PC to back it up, which, well, I don't. And the other is just regular settings, set up for you, more comfortable for you and your PC's performance. So we're going to have a quick look at both. So on absolute max settings, everything ultra, with ray tracing off, 65 frame max. That's for me. But when I add DLSS, that's deep learning super sampling, it pushes me to 93 frames max, so DLSS is the real hero there. Now with RTX on, or ray tracing on max settings, I was at 40 frames, and then you add DLSS, and that's 63 frames max, so that's not bad. Let's have a look at the regular settings you and I would actually use in a gameplay situation. Regular settings with ray tracing off, I'm getting an average of 96 frames. And if I add DLSS, it pushes me to 110 frames max, which is excellent. Now, regular settings, ray tracing on, 56 frames. Still completely playable. And then I add DLSS, then it takes me to 65 frames max, which is also still wildly acceptable. The thing people forget about ray tracing is that, well, it's optional. You don't have to have it on. It's not like you're going to fire up CSGO for a competitive game and turn on ray tracing for all those goodies. It's there so that you will enjoy a little bit more immersion, shadows, reflections, and it really does work in single player campaign modes. There are a lot of mixed feelings about this one, mainly because of the mega hype that the game received. And is that the fault of the game developers or the fans? Well, I think it was about the fans. And Keanu Reeves. Breathtaking. We built this thing up as some kind of cure to COVID, that when the game launched it would make up for a shitty year that we've had. But that was never going to be the case. For me, it all comes down to this. Is it a good game? And yes, it is. And was, and still will be. It's clean, it's got a great storyline, the characters you want to get involved with, plenty of side missions. In fact, I have a friend that's put 130 hours in and he's still not finished the story mode. And Keanu Reeves. But having said that, there are a couple of downsides. Driving around takes some dialing in, as it doesn't feel as organic as some other games. It feels like you have to fight the balance between your driving skill and getting the camera speed just right. It's not a big deal, but it drove me crazy for a little while. And the gunplay is fairly clunky when you first start. You do get used to it. And they definitely could have made the inventory and skill trees a lot less of a cluster whoops. I do not regret playing this game at all, and I very much look forward to the DLCs. The game hit me just right, and if I'm honest, and watching all the backlash just made me think of how ungrateful people have become. How much we slid into a bunch of whiny, entitled kids that throw a tantrum at the first sign of not getting instant gratification. For me, the game was a perfect marriage of Mad Max, GTA 5 and Watch Dogs. It was a slick, fast-talking game that, in my opinion, didn't oversell anything. But let me finish with this. If you've been one of the ones holding off on purchasing the game because of the quote-unquote bugs, then hold off no longer. In my very, very honest and humble opinion, it's well worth the money. With multiple storylines and multiple endings, there's something in it for every style of gamer and gameplay. Look, I hope you enjoyed this video, and always remember, Keanu Reeves is life. Much love.